feedback on how you're going with this series. So in terms of, are you learning how to adjust yourself in that position? What strategies are you using? And we can get the box which may encourage you to say something. Yeah? So I think Alistair and Alison had something. Anna, you can, the box gives you power, Anna.
On. Hello. I'll go after.
Yeah, this has been a really key series so far for me. And thinking about this particular ATM, there's some yardsticks for me that are really encouraging in terms of how I'm personally progressing within the method. And so I have no idea how to make the series comfortable yet. And I'm really excited about that because there's so much to learn. And so I'm able to spread my awareness and my intention and make it so much softer. And so I'm just really interested to see, because I have no idea yet where in my body I can shift, because I'm finding it really uncomfortable with my shoulders.
Okay.
At the moment, but yeah, it's just encouraging to see a shift in thinking. It's a curiosity I'm finding.
Great. So Alistair, did you want to give a bit of, show us getting into the position?
Okay.
And then we can maybe look at possibilities, because I think there's a lot about, getting comfortable and doing less, but then you've got to think, if you get stuck, what else can you do? What shifts can you make that might open up a change in how you're doing it or give you some more information?
Sure.
Okay. So we might just, So maybe if you start off by, having one arm in the push-ups position and bringing the other arm through. Nearly going. Okay, so as you're doing that, so that just feels, where is it in your neck that you're finding?
Yeah. It was more.
Yeah. Well, if you can see when you're there, it's what I think Julie was saying earlier, your head's in the midline. When if you sort of bring it a little bit across, I think that would be more comfortable. There. So if you make a change with your arm, in, like bringing your hand up or down in a different position, does that make it easier, or in and out? Okay. And it might be here that this shoulder, if you come a little bit more forward, does that change what's happening in your shoulder blade? Okay, so it's sort of playing with that. And also then you've got all, the places with your knees, if you take your knees further away from you. Perhaps less symmetrical, bringing one knee forward, one knee back.
Yeah.
Do you want to, maybe if we look at you, Lockie, and see what you were doing? Because it is like a problem-solving approach, and I think it's just that thing of...
I went into
a bit higher up.
Yeah. And you can see the difference.
But look how close Lockie's knee is to his head.
Yeah.
Compared to where you had your knees to your head so long, your bladder like that. Lockie's back is rounder.
Yeah, when...
If you brought your knees closer to your... Start with your... Because it says cheek on that. Yeah, so stop.
That can support the...
Yeah, so Lockie, when you,
About your right knee?
yes, so you can use your arms, but also when you first went down Lockie, this part, when your neck had that crink in it, this was very low to the ground, wasn't it? And then when you brought this up a bit, the neck could lengthen and be more comfortable. So that's, you know, one thing that Lockie's found.
The instructions have your chin.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, there's driving it from the pelvis, but I think it's just for all of you getting that idea that, you know, if it's not comfortable, what can you change? Rather than, in a sense, sticking with the discomfort and, you know, just working it and thinking if I go slower or stay with quality, how can you move a part of you and explore it?
Obviously. I like the idea of being able to do a judo roll at the end, and it's a process to get there. But I'm finding having my head like in that position, it's giving me kind of like a vertigo, or like I feel like I'm just swaying when I'm walking after, like for quite some, like for, you know, like all last night, like it, yeah. And I have had vertigo once last year, which wasn't good. This is a mild form, but I feel like it's, and I've got a bit of a dodgy knee, which I'm trying to, if I do it on with my right knee and my left leg out, it's okay. But if I do it the other way, like my knee is getting quite sore, which I'm trying to adjust. So I'm more doing it on the right side, but it's that, yeah, every time I go down and then come back up, I feel really spacey. So I'm not, it's not getting better. So I'm not sure how much to have my head, like I'm not staying there a long time, but it's definitely still happening.
Well, I'm thinking, you know how Julie talked about the thing of discomfort or pain and being able to distinguish if it's something that you can, if the discomfort is something that you can still learn with and is going to, within that space, that you can still learn something which will be beneficial, or if it's going to be too much for you and you should stop. And it is a very unusual position. You know, it requires a lot of differentiation in your chest. It requires you to shift weight in a certain way. So if you've got a predisposing injury or, you know, issue, I think it's just that thing of maybe making some exploration, stopping, going back to it, and not, and you know, it's that thing of outcome, because it's called judo roll, so we all want to do it. And I know I was doing it, and certain parts of this lesson I can't do. And, you know, it's so tempting to do it because you want to be able to, but can you let go of that attachment and just stick with, you know, being in the process of learning?
Well, I mean, if with the vertigo thing, I probably just wouldn't bother doing it because I really hate the feeling of the vertigo after.
And if you think there's a lot happening with your eyes, your ears, your teloreceptors are all in a strange position, and the neck.
And it's just as soon as I come back up, I'm like all disorientated. But then it's like after walking around, I'm just like this. Oh, sorry. What did you ask me?
So it's with the box, I think.
Yeah. So no, it's more after when I come out of it that I feel trippy.
Sorry. Yeah, I sort of, because I've been doing these for like 19 years.
Yeah.
In my head, I already had like, oh, I can already do this, but it's like I can already do this my way.
Great.
And I've realized this morning, or even yesterday, I was like, I found that, yeah, I was getting like a crick in the neck from being in that position. And like, obviously, I'm not used to being in this position in an effective way or in a supportive way. So it's kind of like, yeah, I feel like I'm collapsing in certain places, and you know, my shoulders are very separate from my spine versus actually being, I don't know, somehow more united and supported.
Okay, yeah. But it looked like you'd been problem solving at Lockie.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I think like,
because I sort of had that.
Yeah.
Everyone's sort of experienced when someone's picked up their shoulder or their arm or leg, got a crick in their shoulder versus picked up there. Yeah, I found the same thing there, where it's all sort of collapsed.
Yeah, and when you come up, it changes.
So, yeah, everything's pressing into this part of the neck. So how can I actually maybe support that and put less that I don't want that supporting my body weight, I guess, do I? Yeah. It's not a very that position to support your body.
No, and I think it's, that thing, to me, it's an intriguing series because it's a lot in the one position with, these different movements and variations, which for me was learning a lot about how I use my chest and how I can get more movement in here. And like you, I can do a judo roll from standing, but it's a different requirement because, I'm here and I go down. So for me, it's more, getting over that fear that I might hurt myself. But if I keep my arms around, I can easily go over. But to do that, I don't need that same amount of differentiation in my chest. So I think that's why, and I guess my learning style is I quite enjoy going into something in a lot of depth or detail. So being in that one position, it's teaching me all those nuances of how I can use myself and learn more in here to take that into all different parts of life, not only into doing the judo roll.
I guess when you do that and slow it down enough, you can change what direction
Going
you're
here,
going.
definitely. And I'm sure we've both seen people who, instead of rolling over, just go roll to their side or make a very tight roll. So there's still lots of elements.
Or even rolling from one shoulder to the other instead of
across the diagonal. Yeah. Alison? I think it's Alison's turn.
This won't take long, but I have a bruise on both the shoulders, which is really interesting.
From doing the...
Yeah.
You might need a softer mat.
I might move off here, but it's actually really interesting. It's a bit like having sunburn, I can feel them both, but that's really good because... So we were doing a bit of practice this morning, which was really helpful to me and a really great discussion. Where's Nancy? Nancy's back there about... sorry, Nancy, what do you call it? Unbendable arm. But also just what it does is so when I know I need to get further over onto my shoulder and not, so I was obviously spending a long time in the one place yesterday. And that's useful though, because now I know I actually won't want to spend much time on that one place
so it might
today.
be all new
to find
learnings
somewhere
to
else
happen.
go. Yeah. Yeah. Roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go, Nina.
Mine is very quick. The first ATM when our hands were on the floor, and it's the first time in my life I really was able to place my shoulders on the floor, and probably after in the middle of ATM, I realized that I was able to release my muscular tension in my shoulders, and after that point I was able to do all movements in my chest, shoulders, and it was much easier
to do.
Yes, that was quite important.
So Nina, do you want to show us just briefly what you discovered in how you positioned yourself maybe, or what change you made that allowed you to make it easier? So maybe if you can show... All right. Okay, so you can look at Nina's upper back there and the neck. And then what does she do to... So you can see she's working out where her shoulders go. And then if you bring one arm underneath, Nina, so you can have one arm in a push-ups position and one not there. Together. Okay. That was the main thing of having it right here. Yeah. Okay.
As only I released the tension of my shoulders at that point of time.
And that made a difference.
Yes. It's
okay. So maybe we'll leave it there. But I think that's, the interesting thing of the first lesson where your forearms are on the floor and then your arms in a push-ups position. But again, it requires a lot of difference in how you evokes the movement in your chest.
Yes, but I had the reference point. What does it mean for me the sensation of the restrictions in my shoulders and unnecessary tension in my muscles, and how I am without that.
And how that's improved.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So how about we have one more and then we'll get into the ATM. You had something to say?
Just wanted to know, what suggestion would you make if people, like you just referred to Alistair before, when you're looking to release attention, but because you don't have that image available to you, like you can only hold so much information in your head as you're doing the loop or whatever. So I'm just wondering if there's anything else you can do to release.
So what I'm thinking we might do is start the ATM, and then, you know, as we get to a certain point, maybe we can pause and look at how a few people do it differently, which I think maybe, you know, seeing it gives people a bit of an idea as well. Okay, so come to your mats.